Hi everyone, Ben here from exercise.co.uk. So today we are getting into the 5 best exercises for your rear delts, which rear delts can be notoriously neglected because if you like to train just looking at a mirror, the rear delts right here are going to be massively neglected, which it's important not to neglect your rear delts, particularly from a postural perspective as well. A lot of rear delt exercises helps bring your shoulders back from a postural correction perspective, with a lot of us being so sedentary with our lives, and a lot of exercises being pushing movements as well. We have a potential to bring our shoulders and rotate them inwards. The great thing about rear delt exercises is it helps to bring our shoulders back and correct our posture so that we don't slouch, and it helps you push your chest out and prevent any shoulder impingements going forward as well. And rear delts have a compounding effect on developing strength through your overall shoulders and back lifts, so pull-ups, they're going to be massively beneficial there as well. Bent over rows, even through some pressing actions as you're pressing up, that support from the rear delts connecting through into the triceps is going to be really beneficial. So it's a small muscle group to focus on, but it has a lot of supporting benefits to it that will help you through a lot of other lifts. So you will start to see strength through other lifts as you develop and work through your rear delts. And there's quite a few different ways that you can hit your rear delts, and sometimes a little bit of confusion on how to do it. So these 5 exercises are really going to help drill down and clarify and crystallize exactly which exercises are going to help you to hit that all important but sometimes neglected muscle group. So first up, we've got some face pulls. Which you're going to need a cable for this, and you don't have to use an attachment like this. This is just a lap bar attachment with a wide angle grip, but you can also use a tricep rope or a D handle. They all work really well. I'm using it from a higher angle, but traditionally it works better if the cable is forward facing, so you can just pull directly to you. So I'm just angling my body backwards slightly so that it's still got the same motion as it would be if the cable was in front of me. So before we start, we're just going to draw our shoulder blades back together just to pull our shoulders back and just protect the rotator cuffs a little bit. And then we're going to bring the bar as close as we can and draw the shoulder blades together and hold and squeeze that contraction at the back and slowly bring it forward. So you want to be pulling it towards you a little bit quicker without smacking yourself in the face with the bar, which I have done on many occasions. So just watch out for that, and then bringing it slowly back and a bit quicker, holding it at the back for a second and then slowly back to the front. So you can overload the rear delts with this exercise quite effectively, but not at the sacrifice of your form. So you also always make sure that you're getting that nice contraction at the back, which is where you're really going to see your rear delts fire up and you're going to feel that burn there. So never compromise that contraction at the back for the sake of adding some extra weight in there for good measure. Second exercise coming up for your rear delts is a cable reverse fly. Now you normally use 2 cables here, but we only have 1 on this machine, so we're just going to do it single arm, one at a time. But you'd normally have your arms positioned both across and pull them both out, but we're just going to do it with 1. And we also have a genius makeshift handle, which is a weight plate wrapped around some chains, but normally we would recommend just using a normal handle. So for me, I'm just going to keep my core nice and tight and engaged because I'm only using one side, so it's going to pull at the core a little bit. So just keeping the core nice and engaged, keeping your arms nice and straight. You're just going to pull across the body and hold, and then bring slowly back across until your arm travels just past your chest, and then extend back out. And as you bring it back, you'll start to feel a nice stretch on your rear delts as you stretch back across. At that point, bring the plate back into extension, hold, and slowly bring back, and then fire back towards the maximum extension, and fire up again. You should really feel that deep within your rear delts. Okay, so third exercise in the mix, we have a rear delt barbell row. So it's going to be a slightly different variation to the normal bent over row. So we're going to go slightly higher and pull the bar up to your chest so that it activates the rear delts a bit more. So you're not going to need as heavy a weight as you normally would with a normal bent over row, but you're still going to want to take the same stance that you would. So knees bent, butt back, and push your chest out. So you want to be keeping your back straight. You don't want to be overarching your back. It just wants to be in a neutral spine position just to protect it. And the key with this is to, again, pull up to your chest and not pull up to your stomach. So a normal barbell row, you'd pull up to here, which is more lat activation and trap activation. So because we're going for the rear delts, we're actually going to bring the bar in front of us and bring it up to our chest, which is really going to start to activate the rear delts. So you're going to hold it at the top for a second. So again, you don't want to be using a weight that's too heavy. I'm just using the bar to demonstrate, but even this feels not far off the right weight, just to make sure the form's nice and controlled, and make sure you're really squeezing your shoulder blades together at the top of the contraction and bringing it down slowly. So you want to be coming up to the count of about a second and coming back down to about the count of 3. So you really want to keep that time under tension on the muscle. Okay, so fourth exercise coming up is probably going to be the most familiar one for you. It's the reverse dumbbell fly, and these are notorious for hitting your rear delts, but I'm going to put a slight twist on these just to give you a little bit of relief in the shoulder. So again, you're going to take the same stance that you do with a barbell row, or you can use these on a bench if you need that little bit of extra support to do the rows. So normally you would just bring the dumbbells straight up and bring them slowly down, which you can still do this, but if you just want a little bit of extra relief on your shoulders, as you're coming up, you can just rotate the dumbbells back a little bit just to increase the activation on your rear delts, and then slowly bring them back down into a neutral position, and then rotate them back out again and slowly bring them back down. So hold at the top for a second just to really keep that time under the tension, and slowly bring them back down. And you can come up a little bit quicker. Again, you don't want to be throwing the weight around. It just wants to be nice and controlled movements to really maximize the activation of the rear delts. Fifth and final exercise for your rear delts is a variation of the single arm row. So you just need something to support yourself like I have here, and just take a similar stance to this, and again keeping your back nice and straight in a neutral position. So it's important to always protect your lower back, particularly when you're moving a little bit of weight. This again, you're going to need a lighter weight than your normal single arm row, because it is going to be a slight variation. So instead of coming up to the side here, we're going to come higher again and rotate the dumbbell out a little bit to highlight the rear delt activation. So it's going to look a little bit like this. So as you come up, you're just going to rotate at a higher angle, and then come down nice and slow and hold at the top for a second, and that's going to really fire up your rear delts. And as you become more familiar with the exercise, you can start to increase the weight and really overload your rear delts, which is all important for seeing growth there. And hold at the top for a second and bring down nice and slow. Okay, so there you have it. There are your 5 exercises for your rear delts. So if you felt like you were short on inspiration to hit that particular area, now you've got plenty of variation there, particularly if you've got some shoulder issues, or if you had any torn tendons or rotator cuff injuries. There's a few different options in there to help relieve any pain on your scapula. So we always recommend prioritizing, particularly face pulls. If you can get in the habit of doing a face pull, even just one round at the end of every workout, just for postural correction again, just to really help bring your shoulders back and push your chest out. It'll actually help make your chest look bigger as well. If you're bringing your shoulders in and you've got some internal rotation going on, it's actually going to make you slump your shoulders forward and make your chest look smaller. So if you push your shoulder blades back and your chest out, it's actually going to bring your chest out a little bit more. So for those of you like myself who have some conscious issues about your chest and you want to make it look a little bit quicker in a matter of seconds, then you can just simply push it out a little bit more, and your rear delts are actually going to help with that. And postural correction will have massive benefits, particularly for injury prevention in the long term. So it may not be a particularly sexy muscle group to work, but it's a very, very functional one that's going to help train a lot of those more big hitting muscle groups as well. So you'll notice the knock-on effects, and they'll be quite far reaching. So stay tuned, because we'll have more exercises coming your way very soon for every different muscle group. And don't forget to like, follow, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.